In a small Luo village by the serene shores of Lake Victoria, there lived a hard-working yet poor man named Obongo Ahenda. His only son, Malunga Ahenda, affectionately known by the villagers as Ogwang Kia Gweno Matuo, grew up learning the values of perseverance and wisdom from his father. Despite their poverty, they found joy in the simple pleasures of life. As Malunga reached adulthood, he approached his father with a bold request. "Father, I wish to leave this village and seek my fortune elsewhere. Please, bequeath me my inheritance so I may start anew." Obongo, though saddened by his son's departure, understood his desire for a better life. He handed Malunga 3 shillings and imparted 3 pieces of advice with each coin. "With the first shilling," Obongo said, "remember, never build a house in the valley. The second shilling advises you never to speak of being witness to things you do not know how they began. And with the third shilling, always greet people kindly and never pass a group without saying hello." With these 3 shillings and his father's wisdom, Malunga embarked on a journey across the vast lands of Kenya. Days turned into weeks as he travelled, and one day he came upon a group of European tourists setting up camp in a lush valley. As the sun dipped below the horizon, dark clouds loomed ominously. Recalling his father's first piece of advice, Malunga approached the tourists. "Please do not set up your tents in the valley. A storm is coming and it is dangerous here. Move uphill for your safety." One tourist, curious and trusting, heeded Malunga's warning and relocated uphill with him. That night, a fierce storm unleashed its fury, and torrents of water flooded the valley, sweeping away the unfortunate tourists who had stayed behind. The surviving tourist, grateful beyond words, took Malunga under his wing and eventually flew him back to the UK to work as his houseboy. In the UK, Malunga worked diligently in his benefactor's household, earning the admiration and respect of everyone around him. However, trouble loomed when his boss left for an overseas business trip. Malunga discovered that his boss's wife was engaged in an affair. He stumbled upon them in an intimate moment, but remembering his father's second piece of advice, he kept silent and did not speak of what he had seen. The wife, fearing exposure, plotted against Malunga. She hired men to dig a deep hole, instructing them to push in and bury alive anyone who peered into it. She then sent Malunga to check on the men's progress, hoping he would be the victim. On his way to the hole, Malunga encountered a group of men resting under a tree. Remembering his father's third piece of advice, he stopped to greet them and engage in friendly conversation. The men, appreciative of his kindness, shared stories and laughter, causing Malunga to forget about his errand temporarily. Meanwhile, the impatient wife sent her son to check on the progress, if the hole has been covered. The son arrived at the hole and peeked inside. The men, misunderstanding the son's intentions, followed their orders and pushed him into the hole, burying him alive. When Malunga returned with the men to report back, the wife was horrified and fainted upon learning of her only son's fate. Soon after, Malunga's boss returned home to the tragic news of demise of his only son. In a fit of rage and despair, he quickly wrote his will, shot and killed his wife and then himself. In his will, Mr. Dubois left all his properties to Malunga, both the estates in the UK and properties in Kenya. From 3 simple shillings and the wisdom of his father, Malunga became a multi-millionaire, his journey and actions proving the timeless value of his father's advice. Years later, Malunga returned to his village, now a wealthy man. He built schools, hospitals, and clean water wells, uplifting the entire community. His tale of fortune and the wisdom of his father became a cherished folk story, told around evening fires and in village gatherings. The villagers always remembered and honoured Malunga Ahenda, the man who became rich with just 3 shillings and a father's love, forever known as Ogwang Kia Gweno Matuo.